Hi, my name is Felicia Sanchez, and today I will be talking about a TED Talk. The first question is, what experiences/symptoms of the stroke that she described were surprising to you or ones you did not know about? So one of the surprising symptoms to me that the neuroscientist described was how she felt like completely disconnected from her body. She could see like her body, but it didn't feel like it was hers. That's where the disconnect came from. This was something I didn't know about before, because like I've heard people like talk about they've had strokes and like the aftermath of it, but like never like have I heard like what actually happens during a stroke. So how a stroke can make you feel like you're not in control of your own physical body, physical self, kind of just surprises me the most. Another surprising thing was how her stroke didn't hit all at once, but came on gradually. So I always thought like strokes happen like suddenly, but she described how she realized something was wrong like little by little, instead of like I thought like when you have a stroke basically your whole body just it hits everything, right? But the way she described it was it wasn't hitting her all at once. It was going like one by one, which is actually a little more scarier to me than for it to just hit you all at once. That made me think like about how like different stroke experience can be like, I guess it can be different for people. So I don't know if it's like that for everyone, but for her that's pretty scary. um Also, like the way she explained her difficulty with language was very eye-opening for me. She could still like speak, but her words didn't come out. Like it's like her brain, like you know how like when your brain is trying to, it's basically telling you to say something and right away you say it. So her brain was basically trying to get her to say something, but it wasn't coming out. Um, and she felt like her thoughts were trapped. I hadn't known like how badly a stroke could affect the ability to process and like communicate words. So that was also another surprise to me. Um, the second question was, describe some of the action steps she took while she had the stroke to get help. She took while she had the stroke to get help. So while she was having the stroke, the neuroscientist took a few important steps to get help. She first she recognized that something was wrong, which obviously will always be the first step, and immediately tried to call for help. She managed to make it to the phone, though she had trouble speaking clearly, and which made it hard for her to communicate with the person on the other end. Um, Next, she reached out to a friend who lived nearby. She sent a text to her best friend, even though she had difficulty typing, and her thoughts were like disjointed, pretty much. She was still able to push through and get the message out to get the help that she needed. Eventually, she was able to get to the hospital, where the medical staff could provide her with the care that she needed, which was good. Even though she was struggling, she took those crucial steps, calling, texting, and getting to a hospital, just finding help to get to a provider, which ultimately helped her to get the treatment that she needed quickly. The last question was, list one thing you learned new about strokes. So one thing I learned new about strokes is how basically they can affect like not just physical movement, but also like a person's perspective on their body and their ability to form words. So basically are also affecting the brain. The She described like feeling, like I said, disconnected from her body. So it's like your your brain activity is like going kind of like, I feel like it's going a little crazy. Like it's, you're wanting to do stuff, you wanting to say stuff, but like your body just won't do it. Your mouth won't move. Nothing So it's just all just trapped. But like I said, where she get the trapness from is all stuck in your head and not connecting to the parts that it needs to of your body, which was just I didn't know like it completely did that. Um, Struggling to communicate even though she could still speak. So like she was saying, she was communicating well, but not to normally how she normally communicates. So it was to a limit basically. So I didn't realize like the strokes could have such like a deep impact on both physical and the cognitive functions in ways I hadn't in ways I hadn't expected basically. And that was the end of society.